Hello and welcome to Art Lit at Lake Grove Elementary in the Lake Oswego School District. This is Teresa returning again to do a quick demo of our first artist for the school year, Alma Thomas, Alma Woodsy Thomas. She is an artist who actually does a lot of work in painting, but we're going to do this project today in paper, which is just a lot easier and gets the same effect. And so there's actually two lessons this time, one for K to 2 and one for 3 to 5. The K to 2 is going to look like this, where you're using square pieces of paper that are pre-cut, really handy. And then the 3 to 5, they can use strips of paper that are going to get ripped into pieces. And that's going to give the effect of the painterly kind of look that you have here. So let's get started. What we'll need is all these things will be on the art cart for you. For the 3 to 5, we're going to have the strips of paper, and then the K to 2 will have these squares, as I mentioned, already in a lot of colors. There's 2 colors of paper, white and black. They can pick whichever one they want. Every kid needs a pencil. We'll have a lot of glue. This is going to be necessary. The purple's really nice because it shows up on the white paper. And then some scissors. And that's it, pretty easy. So I'm gonna do one today that is going to be the torn paper, just to kind of show what that looks like. As always, the first step is put the name on the back. So name and their teacher. Super important. And then they'll just put them back on the art cart. They should dry pretty fast, so it shouldn't be too big of a problem. So the way we start is pretty simple. They'd like you to do a circle, and I don't have what I'm looking for here. We'll put some things on the cart that will be able to be traced, but you can use anything that's around, and you just pick a spot anywhere on the paper. It can be big, it can be small, you can use something bigger than that. The idea is the circle. They don't have to do a circle. You'll see a lot of Alma's work is also straight lines across, for instance. Whatever the kids want to do is fine. The way that we'll do this is just tear a lot of pieces. It'll go faster if they use bigger pieces, but if they really want to use small ones, that's okay too. So I'll just show you what it looks like both ways. I'm going to do this blue in the middle. So you just kind of do this. And start putting the paper in there. I'm going to tear these in half because I think it's going to fit a little bit better. You'll see in the art, I recommend that you go and watch the video that is part of the lesson. It should be linked. Both versions are linked off of the school site, the district art literacy site, and I'll put it in the newsletter as well. There you go. And then just because you can see kind of the style of work that Thomas did. So another effect you can do is if you do really skinny pieces like this, you can kind of get some different cadences going on with the rhythm. It's important that with this project, this is of course kind of obvious, but it's easy to miscalculate the length of amount of glue that you need. It's a little hard to see here on the black, but you need to make sure you actually do the entire height. I'll show you on this piece of paper. If you do just this and stick it, it's gonna come off. And these are gonna be probably the art pieces that show up in the library. They're gonna transport it all around. So really make sure that you kids are making it a big enough glue spot that the piece of paper holds down the whole time. It does dry kind of fast, so it's also a good idea. They'll want to do the entire thing all at once, but if you just do it in chunks, that'll often work better too. The trick for the younger kids is probably going to be this radiating out kind of thing. You can have the pieces overlap, you can have them be separate. It's really up to them. I actually had my 3-year-old do one because he just wanted to participate, and he put them really far apart. Totally fine, doesn't really matter. Don't have that example because he gave it to Granny, but that's okay. You'll see what the kids do. The most important thing for those of you who are newer to Art Lit or just need a reminder It's not about perfection. I've heard that some of the other district coordinators, that their kids get caught up in having it be perfect. It really isn't. That's not the point. The point is just to have fun, to enjoy art, to learn a little bit about some of the principles, mostly through doing. Oh, that's the wrong color, so I'm gonna rip some more. Color, rhythm, emotion, all those things are the important part. It's really not about getting exactly perfect. So don't worry about having them copy. If some kids are more comfortable copying exactly what they see on the screen, perfectly okay also. Doesn't have to be all original. It's just about getting moving into the art space. And you can be really particular if you want, tear things to the right width, but it really doesn't matter. There you go. Okay, the next level doesn't have to be in any color order. I just happen to pull these out of the stack in this order. So I'm gonna do green. Something I like to do when I did the test one is tear a lot all at once. This can help, especially if you're looking for a certain size. And then you can actually, tear these even smaller. With the younger kids who are gonna have the squares, if they feel like tearing them in half into pieces, they totally can. There's no in this project really. They can do whatever they want. I do think that it goes pretty fast, but it's gonna be, whatever they like. They do instruct in the instructions. They're trying to get color in a single variance, as in a single circle, right? Like the picture examples are not, and what Alma's work was doing was not staggering the colors or having them be mixed together. It's supposed to be like an entire row or entire circle of one color. But again, it's all about the creativity. So if the kids end up wanting to do something different, they can. It's not a big deal. So with these ones, it's stuck a little bit. I just kind of want to have some difference in the size. So I'm just going to pick as I go some of these like this. And you can see it doesn't really matter if they're all lined up or not, equal sizes. If you look at Thomas's work, they're not all equal sizes, and that's part of it, and you could make those choices. Each artist can decide. Some of these projects are a little repetitive, but I like to do them all the way through so you get an idea of how long they take for an adult. Of course, the kids take a little longer sometimes. One of the things that's going to be a little bit tricky, I think, with the younger kids is all of the mosaic squares come in just a pile, not separated by color. And honestly, even if we separated them by color, by the time the shared art cart makes its way to your classroom, it'll probably be all mixed up again anyway. So we'll try to figure out some way to have lots of kind of bins of them so that if kids are sitting in sort of pods or whatever, they can share. Because it is going to be maybe frustrating, I think, if a kid really wants all the yellow and there's not enough pieces for them to complete their part. So that's going to be probably the role of the volunteers in the classroom, is to run around and make sure that each student or each student set of tables has what they're looking for. And if at the end you end up with little extras like these, you can put them in one of the bins. It's fine. I'm sure somebody will use them at some point. I'm still not working out yet if we're going to have an entire cart of just for our K2 and one for the older, because I think it's going to be challenging when there's some students, we need 2 carts active at a time and they might actually be in the same group. So most likely every supply will be available on every cart. Again, you don't have to gatekeep. If a student really wants to use the strips and rip them and they're in the younger grades, that's okay. Just know that they might take a little longer to complete the project. And so you got to support them and have them be able to finish up, or maybe space things a little further apart so that they aren't going over the time allotted. But the lesson is super fast. This one's very, very quick. There's a quick biography video and then just a few really cool works to look through. So I don't think the kids will run into too many time constraints. unless they're getting very intricate. Not a ton of cleanup and stuff. So you can see what I'm doing here is just choosing the next size up. Again, letting some have overlap, not that big of a deal. Some of them don't. If you want them to move a little faster, these bigger pieces definitely fill up the page a lot faster. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. The younger kids also need reminded to scoot their glue sticks up, probably. It's easy to forget. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So the whole idea with these is to have the thing be going off the edge. It's full bleed, as if that makes sense. It goes off this edge. So they put it all the way up, let it dry, and we'll come back through and stick it, cut it, that is. There you go. Another one. If you want to be really economical with the paper, I recommend for cutting you flip it so you can see what you're doing. We should have plenty of supplies so you don't have to do this, but you know, if you want to, that's a way to save paper. Using the same pieces again. Yeah. And let's see, we'll do one more. In the example, they don't fill the whole thing, but if they have time, it is really impactful to fill the whole thing. So you can repeat a color, you can go back and do something else. I'm just gonna do this one maybe. You can go sideways, something like this, but remember to have them go off the edge. It looks really nice. Quick plug also, if you heard me mention the library installation, that will be in December. There are also, of course, every month, I'm not sure everybody notices, but we put up stuff about on the bulletin board about each artist. So Artlit is run by myself and Tessa with the support, of course, of Kat and Julie on PTA, but it's all by volunteer. And there are a couple of extra volunteer positions we wouldn't mind filling just to support stuff that's not just being in the classroom. Of course, the classroom is the most fun part. But if you have a little extra time and interest, please reach out. We would not mind having your help doing things like just putting up the bulletin board each month, taking that down. We do have to pass all of the supplies off to the next school each time. There's that task. It just is taking it to the elementary school office over at Oak Creek, typically, is who follows us. But yeah. And this. Okay, that's really it. Oh, I've got this side too, so you can see it's nice to just trim the edges. If you run out of time, no big deal. I'm sure somebody could come through and trim these edges later. But do make sure you can see how important it is to make sure that everything gets stuck there really good, really well. And if you do all the way to the edge, also fantastic. That's kind of the project. That's it. Just make sure that at the end, little tiny bits we'd appreciate you throw out. Make sure all the caps are back on the glue sticks. And scissors, try to make them make their way back to the cart. We don't have as many because a lot of the kids do have them already at their desks. But yeah, I know this is not going to stay this organized, so just do what you can to keep it clean, but we'll have the art cart all set up. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for volunteering. See you in the classroom.